What's up guys, it's your man KP67s bringing you another video today, and today we're going to be going over our first Sith video, the Sith Holocron, shall I call it. And I'm pretty excited because, well, for one thing, you're actually going to see that I'm not a Gear 12 monster here because, surprise, I don't have all Gear 12s. Even Dooku's like Gear 8, surprise, surprise. I don't like Dooku though, so, but he's for another day. He is for another day. Today we're here to talk about one of the Gear 12s, the Sith Assassin in this case. So, Sith Assassin is a Sith attacker who has pretty decent agility stats here. So when it comes to the agility stats, she has a lot of physical damage and critical rating here, compared to more average strength and below average tactics in this case. As you can see here, she's got quite a bit of protection on her. I think I have 2 protection mods on her. I'll have to check. But she gains quite a bit of protection when you actually put her to Gear 12 in this case. Her speed is pretty decent, 234, so that's plus 83 speed on her. I could bring that a little higher, but right now it's just farming mods, trying to stick mods onto every single character that I want to use. So that's going to take a bit of time. Her critical damage, 180 right now. I could bump that up, but that will come over time. Her physical damage is pretty decent, almost 3,000. I would like to get it above 3,000 ideally, so I still, like I said, I have to rework my mods a little bit on her. She does have a pretty good physical critical chance though, 50.6%, so she's going to be critting quite a few times. As you can see here, her armor is nothing to write home about. It's about on par with most attackers. She won't be standing there tanking a ton of hits, but her kit allows her to not have to worry about that too much. So, where can you find the Sith Assassin? Well, the Sith Assassin can be purchased in the shipments for 80 crystals a shard. So for 4 shards, you're paying 320 crystals per 4 shards, but she is free to play in this case, so you really don't need to worry about shipments. You can locate her in Battle 8C in the Cantina nodes. Keep in mind this is a 16 energy Cantina node, so it is expensive, but it will be worth in the long run when you do get her to 7 stars, because most attackers gain the most amount of damage, most amount of stats when they have all stars, compared to tanks who don't need stars, just gear. So, when you look at her gear, speaking of, her gear is a lot like crew, annoying, but not like prohibitively so. She's sitting at 5 Mark 6 hyposyringes, 4 Mark 3 carbantes, and 3 of the stun cuffs. Like I said, it's annoying, don't get me wrong, it's annoying to have to farm, like, all those pieces, but, considering the hyposyringes are challenge gear, the carbantes are challenge gear, the stun cuffs are a little bit more plentiful between the shard shop and the guild store, even the guild event store, you can get quite a few stun cuffs and other pieces there, but honestly, don't farm regular gear from the guild event store, you need those event tokens. So overall, most of her gears do damage, so they're important to her, and it's just something that you have to get done. So, moving on. Her first basic here is Exploit Weakness. Deal physical damage to the target enemy, inflict evasion down for 2 turns, and gain offense up for 2 turns. If the target was already debuffed, you gain stealth for 2 turns, and if Sith Assassin already had stealth, you ignore the target's protection. Now, Sith Assassin and Sith Trooper, when they were first introduced a little over a year ago, they came out February 2017, they were both special in the sense that they could go below protection. They could hit you through protection and directly hit your health pool. Given that everybody mods for protection, tanks have protection up the wazoo, but nobody mods for health, this is a pretty significant thing because you could actually work down a character quite quickly when you use her in a very specific combination, specifically using her Electrocute followed by Savage, but I'll get into that. So, just going over her basic one more time, you're inflicting a debuff, you're gaining some offensive power, and you either stealth yourself or you hit their protection if you already had stealth. Speaking of stealth, her first special in this case, is Dark Shroud. Dispel all debuffs on Sith Assassin and gain stealth and foresight for 2 turns. If she already had stealth, gain speed up and tenacity up for 2 turns. Sith allies gain 12% turn meter for each buff on her. So let's say you chose to do this. You hit with a basic and you got offense up, right? And let's just say they were already debuffed, so then you managed to stealth yourself. Then you use Dark Shroud. So between already having a stealth and an offense up, you gain Foresight, a third buff, and then you gain Speed up and Tenacity up, 5 buffs total, which means that when she uses this move, all her Sith allies will gain 12 times 5, 60% turn meter. This is a clutch move for Sith Assassin. This essentially turns her into the turn meter engine for most Sith compositions. The only exception to this is Emperor Palpatine after his rework, but I'll get into that towards the end. And her second special here is Electrocute. Deal physical damage to the target enemy and inflict stun for 1 turn. If Sith Assassin had stealth, you dispel all your buffs and deal 5% more damage for each effect dispelled and each living Sith ally, and you get to ignore the target's protection. So, assuming you had 5 buffs, as previously with Dark Shroud, you are doing an extra 25% damage with Electrocute, and if your whole team is Sith, that's another 5 times 5, 25%. So you're doing a total of 50% extra damage with Electrocute, not including the fact that you can critically hit with this move too. So I have seen Sith Assassins hit for 20 to 22k with this move, bringing you down to less than 50% health in one go. And a popular tactic that had come up was using Sith Assassin's Electrocute, which drops you below 50% health, and then you follow it up with Savage Oppress, who can actually one-shot you from when you fall below 50% health. Savage will come in a later time though. Suffice to say that was a very effective strategy to rip through a character very quickly with Sith Assassin. So that's her abilities, and then we look at her mods here in this case. I do recommend a 4 critical damage, 2 critical chance mod set. As you can see, I got a couple 4 dots in there just because they've got some good speed on them. Yeah, they've got some good speed on them. Obviously, speed for the arrow. I would recommend critical damage here for this triangle, and either offense or potency. It really depends on which way you want to play her. If you want the stun capability, that's cool. If you just want her to hit like a truck, go offense, it's totally up to you. So yeah, 4 critical damage, 2 critical chance, and with respect to her secondaries, obviously, speed, number 1. Number 2, protection. Number 3, critical chance. And number 4, offense. Those are the pieces that you want. In this case, I have speed, protection, critical chance. So that's pretty good. I got speed here. That's about it. Kind of but I'm not gonna look past 11 speed, right? The arrow has a bit of potency. Potency is also actually a pretty good secondary for her because of the fact that she carries a stun and she does have to apply an evasion down. So potency does have some benefit to her. But to be honest, you shouldn't be relying too much on stunning, especially with tenacity ups out there, cleanses, just annoying things like that. So if you really wanted her just to hit like a monster, speed, critical chance, offense. If you wanted that stun control capability, I would probably add potency there instead of offense, or offense if you wanted to hit her like a truck. So after that, I guess summative thoughts here. Sith Assassin is a very, very integral Sith character in any Sith composition, like I said, because she is your turn meter engine. You can make her the fastest character on your team, so that way she will go first, and then she will go ahead and use Dark Shroud, and that means that automatically you will be giving everybody at least 24% turn meter. So, she's good in that sense, as well as the fact that, over time, she can start really ramping them up by giving them 60%, 60%, 60% turn meter based on how you choose to play her. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, Emperor Palpatine lead after his rework kind of made it unnecessary to have Sith Assassin because of the fact that Emperor Palpatine's leadership can grant a significant amount of turn meter based on debuffs expiring. However, in the future, and I will get to this eventually as well, like I'm hinting at it right now, In the future, for Sith teams, I think Sith Assassin is going to be an integral component to a Sith triumvirate team. They're going to need turn meter generation. She will be the engine that will be necessary. She will provide a good level of control, and she will provide a significant amount of offensive damage. She was quite popular when Zal was meta. She will become quite popular down the road. This is why I definitely would recommend that you guys farm her, and get her ready for when Darth Treya comes into the meta. But that's a story for another time. All right, guys, this concludes this review. Excuse me. If you liked the video, please go ahead, leave a like. Please leave a comment if you have any suggestions for anything I could improve on. And hey, you know what? If you really like the material, subscribe for more content. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Have a good day.